At New York Comic Con, one of the prevailing rumors that you could hear in whispers, or you could just read on bleedingcool.com, was that, as one does,
The place where rumors breed and spread, and
right, fester. Um,
that's the word.
one of the prevailing rumors, probably the biggest rumor, was about a DC Ultimate Universe. And when I first heard about this, I was like, that's not gonna happen. Plus, the Elseworlds announcement had happened, so I thought, all right, someone just got mixed up.
Mm.
But then the next day, after the Elseworlds announcement, we kept hearing about it. In fact, we can't say how, but we heard about it from uh, a source that could know.
Up the
Someone,
chain, as it were.
Yeah,
someone close to the matter.
yeah. And so now I think it's happening. In fact, I think it's happening very soon. So I thought that we would come here and talk about what a DC Ultimate Universe would look like, what it has to do to be materially different from the mainline DC Universe. And the biggest factor of all is the rumor, again, that Scott Snyder is going to be spearheading / show running this entire project. So we're going to chew on that. Welcome to the show. Yes, a big old bite. We're going to take a big old bite out of Scott Snyder in DC.
I am hungry.
As you ever are. Also, we have a super fun show packed. We got a lot of stuff to do today and a huge announcement coming a little bit later in the show. So you don't want to go anywhere. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching live. If you're listening at any time, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's smash it so we can get to this draft. It's going to be a ton of fun. Yes, Hulk smash it. We got a lot of fun to have. All right. Let's talk about a DC Ultimate Universe. So, of course, everybody knows that Marvel has, at this point, had 2 Ultimate Universes. And we'll talk about the first one because I think if they're going to do this, the blueprint is really the first one.
Yeah.
So that started in the early 2000s. It was spearheaded by a new wave of creators that really hadn't splashed in mainline comics quite yet, but were on the verge. You had, of course, writers like Michael Bendis. You had artists like Brian Hitch, writers like Mark Miller. So these were the new wave of creators, and they were telling stories that felt at that time radically different from what we were getting from the mainline Marvel books, which, quite frankly, weren't very good at the time and felt stale. So the Ultimate Universe came in. It seemed like a universe that played by a different set of rules. In some ways, it played for keeps. It seemed like death was a real thing. And the stories were exciting and fresh. Of course, we all know that things went off the rails, but we had about a decade maybe of pretty strong Ultimate Universe stories at Marvel. So my first question to you guys is, again, given the state of Marvel when they launched the Ultimate Universe, it was dire and lame. Marvel was lame. Do you think that DC is in a place where they even need an Ultimate Universe? Kale.
No. But no, I don't see how this will work the same way as it did for Marvel. And I think the thing that made it so successful for Marvel, I think, is that Marvel's whole business has been built upon being the world outside your window. But DC has never needed that. They've never made that promise, and they don't need to. Ultimate Marvel worked because they brought origins to the modern time. But DC does that every 5 years, if that. There's always a retelling. I don't think this will work for DC because their characters are bigger than the world outside your window.
They're those gods and the gods and monsters that DC talks about, James Gunn talks about. My thing is they've done this already. It was called Earth One. Like their attempt at it already happened. Sure, it was only in graphic novel form, but that was getting the hottest creators at the time, or maybe up and coming, and retelling the origins of their main heroes in a somewhat modern setting.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Weren't those one shots too? Like, I mean, fairly contained anyway.
One or
They-
two shots.
Yeah,
much.
they were single hardcovers, small hardcovers, and some of them got volume 2s. And those were like generally received well too. So not continuing that was strange. But yeah, I don't know why they need this. They just announced Elseworlds. They have a whole bunch of stuff going on. This seems to be, I guess it depends on how many books we're getting in this too. But it seems to be unnecessary.
Yeah, I think it's going to get busy. It's going to get in the way of the things that they already have too. Tyler just mentioned Elseworlds. I mean, they have Black Label to kind of be their own, whatever it needs to be, if they want to use it that way. Right now, it's been very focused on the Batman stuff, but they have options to be able to tell stories in non-contained, non-continuity. And so, what would be the purpose of this if not to inflate the number of lines that they have across the board?
Batman books.
Sure.
You said it.
Sure. But like it'll get busy because then now it's like, okay, well, I have to follow mainline continuity. I get these cool one-offs every once in a while on for Batman on Black Label. Maybe the Elseworld stuff is gonna pull through for a few things, and you want to sell me a separate universe. I mean, I can also only buy so many books, and I don't know if there's enough of incentive to get me there to an ultimate universe after that. Like there has to be a hard sell to get me to try it, or to try it to be a little bit easier, but to get me to stick around, that's gonna be a harder sell.
I genuinely am puzzled by this type of decision right now. So on one hand, right, I'm ruminating on this and my mind goes to 5G. Because 5G, right, is hey, now from this point forward, comic book characters age and they grow and they die and things will change. That was the promise of 5G, right? We know about how Superman was going to, get depowered, and then him and Batman were going to have a final fight, and they were both going to be gone and get replaced and everything else. Okay. So there is an aspect of that idea that is exciting and interesting. The idea that the comic books would be forced, because this is a separate universe, to let characters get older and get replaced and die and all that. Play for keeps. But how long is it going to take to get to that?
Yep.
Right? How many years of storytelling is it going to take to get to that? And what's going to happen before that? Are we going to go back to a young Bruce Wayne swearing his oath to fight crime? Like, I just don't need it, I don't think. And they do so many offshoot stories where you can get a Bruce Wayne in any era. What do you need this for?
Yep.
I worry to that point that if they announce this, or sorry, if they start to put stuff out, they won't give it the time to get to those places. They'll try to probably accelerate it because
absolutely.
It's like, well, we have a framework. We know what's worked. We know that, there's on the Marvel side, they had stakes. And so the story rolled out, was told in a way so that endings or deaths or character growth was warranted. But here it's like, we're going to get to the big splashy stuff. That's something that I think DC's recently been doing, is not being considerate of the time it takes to get to certain moments that have weight and value. And I'm thinking specifically of the Dark Crisis.
Marvel was a blueprint for how this doesn't work. Like that's what Marvel was supposed to be. You know, like Peter Parker died and Miles, you know, took over. But then Peter Parker came back, you know, because people were now invested in that version of that character. And then the same, you know, issues of the past came back for this new line. So it's kind of proof that it doesn't really work if you want to sell books consistently.
I mean, it worked for a decade.
Sure, which DC ain't even giving it, you know, half of that. But
and they're not. I don't think DC's main line is in the place where they need a reboot of this magnitude. Not that it would be a mainline reboot, just that it would be a separate universe that is essentially rebooted. It's starting from one.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we would need that.
yeah, the variant industry has not destroyed DC Comics yet. We got to give it a couple more years before it does that.
I'm really thrown off. I'm really thrown off by this. And then so there's another thing, right? And that's the Scott Snyder aspect. When I hear Scott Snyder and DC, I think of one character, that of course being Batman. And I don't want a DC Ultimate Batman universe. I love Batman, but why? We already saw the Elseworld announcement had what? 3 Bat books?
5 out of wasn't it like 5 out of 6 were
A lot.
It's a lot, right? And so if they do an Ultimate line, how it's going to be, of course, a Batman book. What are we going to get? Like an Alfred Pennyworth war stories book from his time as a war guy?
Right now, that actually sounds interesting. Garth Ennis, let's go.
watch the
Ooh.
TV show.
Yeah, watch the show.
Superman,
Superman, Wonder Woman.
Aquaman,
All right. Green Lantern.
Red Tornado.
Too many books.
Just yeah, this is all. It's all stuff you can like.
You
it's
can get
all
it now.
stuff, like, and it's all accessible. Like, it's not even like you have to read these, you know, the 1930s version of all this. Like, there's a 2010s. There's probably a 2018 version that's of all of these stories. Some version that's clean and modern.
I think, yeah, if you want to start with Batman, take your pick, because you could start with Grant. I mean, I did. I don't know. You could start with Scott Snyder, who already has a great run for that. But you could also start with Tom King, who has a great run for that.
Mhm.
Or you could start with Chip Zdarsky, which is happening right now, and it's great. So why a Green Lantern just started? They got Green Lantern number 3 out right now. You know what I'm saying?
2 Green Lanterns just
Yeah.
started.
I
So,
think also
comic-
the sorry, go.
Yeah, I was going to say Comic Boom in the chat kind of has the alternate to what you guys are saying. He says, remember why Marvel's first Ultimate was so successful? It was not tied down by decades of continuity, allowing new interactions and less editorial changes. That appeals to current DC, I think.
Does it? A DC that just got a new editorial team that is finally able to tell stories untethered to 5G?
And also just came out of a crisis. So what editorial mandates are they bound by right now?
I agree with you guys, but I can also see how, like, yes, we know that because we're tapped in. You know, Joe Schmo sees Detective Comics 1063 or whatever, and gets intimidated by that. Like, I know I'm of
Joe,
the,
but
yeah.
but Joe Schmo's not going to pick this up. He's not.
I don't disagree.
Like, it's, you know, it's this marketing to this untapped reader. In this case, the one case that I'll agree with Sean, that person doesn't exist. Like, you know, somebody's not going to go, oh, you know, I'm really jonesing for Detective Comics right now. I really need to figure out where Batman lost his parents. You can look at 2 issues of Batman ago and it's not like we don't need this.
I just feel like there's so many access points right now. Like if we're really going to talk about the state of Marvel at that time, and you really look at it, this is a company that was literally bankrupt. They came out of one of the worst eras in the history of Marvel with the Heroes Reborn stuff that they had done. Sales were really bad, and they needed a revolution. And it wouldn't have worked if they didn't rely on new voices, because Scott Snyder's great. He really is. I think he's one of the better Batman writers that we've ever had. But he's not a new voice. This is a voice that we have been comfortable with for over a decade, writing Batman, not writing something else.
That's actually a really good point. I think if you have somebody, or if you have a group of creators who feel like the next wave, that's a differentiator to say, hey, yes, you can get your, you can get your Black Label books by Snyder, by a Christian Ward, by a whoever, or you can get your Elseworld stories as told by these creators. But you know what? Here's this hungry wave of creators who want to tell stories. We're giving them a sandbox to play in. That's an appeal, I think, as compared to Scott Snyder is leading the charge, or Mark Waid is leading the charge, or if they bring Brian Michael Bendis out of the wings to lead this thing. Like, I think that's a better sell and would get me more interested, because at the very least, I know that I'm getting a variety of story within the context of Elseworlds. Or sorry, fuck, I messed it up already. Sorry, Ultimate.
I mean, Scott Snyder does also have the benefit of his Substack, and he has lots of hungry and new creators that he works with. If this could be a way of introducing those creators, and Scott Snyder is the showrunner, like you mentioned, Sean, and there's more of a diverse, unfamiliar creator lineup for these books, I think that's where it would be appealing for me. The actual text of it all, I could care to give two shits for, but
the problem is that we've kind of seen what Scott Snyder would do when he's fully in control of who he works with, and for the most part, he's worked with the same people he's worked with, or people that we already know.
It's all people that went to Sarah Lawrence College.
Like it's not really opening any doors, and if you go back 20 years, Brian Michael Bendis, new face, already, like put the time in, put the work in to be a great creator for the last 5 or so years before getting tapped for this. The creators that came from across the pond, they were super talented. These were amazing people. We're talking about Mark Miller. We're talking about Brian Hitch. They were great, but they had go ahead.
When they'd done their time too on 2000 AD,
Sure.
on Doctor Who, on
Yeah. So is that like that untapped creator that we already know is great, but just hasn't gotten that bump yet? Who's that? Because I don't know.
They would have to be utterly unknown.
It's tough. It's tough because everybody gets a shot. And then people who don't get a shot are people like Victor Dandridge, who grind and do great stories, but seem to never get chosen when DC's doing a Black anthology book or Marvel's doing one. It's like there's a certain kind of creator that there's just a ceiling on as far as Marvel and DC, and everybody else is in. So who do you get?
You get people from TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was anything inherently wrong with Earth One.
And rename it that, right? I mean, you already have the brand recognition there. Like, take advantage of the fact that people know that, have an understanding what it is. And if you say, you know what, we're announcing an Earth 1 Wave 2, that sounds confusing, beside the point, but there's a recognition that I think would be, at the very least, more easily accepted.
I like how you're like, we're gonna do Earth 1, Wave 2, even though they did already. And also, you're the marketing guy. You're like,
Wave
the
3.
marketing doesn't matter. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, they have the Green Lantern show, or whatever the heck James Gunn is making, is like based on the Earth 1 Green Lantern. So, I don't know. Refocus there, in my opinion.
Refocus, DC.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
So someone said, oh, Gilmer Eric Smith, welcome. He said Philip Kennedy Johnson. So that's a name that I could see being involved on some level, even though, again, he's already involved writing mainline DC.
I feel like his big career is new enough.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done quite like the universe spanning stories yet. That he could be interesting. Seeing
Right.
like what his takes would be interesting.
Leah Williams is another name they have. She can do some things.
Pull in the guy who does all the alternate universes, Tom Taylor.
Tom Taylor,
Ultimate Reforestation.
let him write Ultimate Titans. Vita Ayala, Nicholas Draper Ivy. They do have some creators on hand that would be interesting to see them in a more prominent role. But, you know, these are names we've seen on big titles already. So I don't know who you get necessarily. I think that those are some that we've thrown out names that you could use. You know, maybe you get a Brian Edward Hill. There are certain people.
Yeah. You get a Tyler Olson, a Kel Ward, you know.
How come you don't say my name? What's up with my chop meat?
Kel's
Chop
right
liver?
next to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can't see you in his
Right.
field of vision.
Right.
As far as my mind goes, yeah.
Comic Boom says moviegoers are not confused with ongoing new Batmans or Supermans, etc. Why do we assume that new comic book universes will confuse readers? I think readers deserve more credit. I have people in my life right now that I can name who have, in the last 5 years, asked me which company owns Spider-Man. I've had people say to me that Spider-Man is a DC character. Constantly, I have to correct people when they bring up movies like Morbius and Venom, and how come those characters don't interact with Spider-Man, even though they're in the same universe. All the time. When Batman, that whole fiasco, when we literally had 4 Batmen in a movie in the same calendar year, which is 2022 to 2023, because George Clooney was in that damn Flash. People were buzzing my phone, asking me what the hell is going on with DC. So as much as I want to agree with that, Comic Boom, I can't, because people in my life don't get it. And they're not necessarily used to the idea that you have multiple Batmen, that you have multiple Spider-Men, like we are, because we've been reading comic books for decades.
I think even giving the readers the benefit of the doubt, for me, it's going to boil down to: am I going to pay for another $5, $6 book? And realistically, whether you know them or not, you have to convince me that your title, whatever it might be, is worth that extra money. Because right now, comics are already expensive, more so than they have been in decades since the last Marvel's Ultimate Universe. Like, so there's a lot of consideration that has to be taken into account there.
Can I read this super chat?
Please.
Is that what you were about to do?
Yes.
Okay. I want to read this super chat because it brings up an interesting question for me that I sort of want to turn to. Flo Dameron, thank you so much for that super chat. Super chats are on. Please, if you feel led by the Spirit, hallelujah and amen to you. God bless. Flo says, I'm all for it. It'll be cool if they use this for Mark Millar's Superman. I mean, I don't want that, but I hope that makes you happy. My question here is, what to you guys would make this work? Because to me, it's not Scott Snyder, and it's not a universe reset.
Hmm.
Scott Tober didn't do it for you, Cal?
The fucking comicsology collapsed before we even got Scott.
Yeah, that's true. That's not
Tober.
fair to Scott, honestly. That isn't fair to Scott.
I think they have to be characters that, for me, it would have to be smaller time talent. It would have to be books and titles that aren't on the stands currently. Like, I don't need another Batman book.
Mm,
Beyond is enough of it. No, it's still Batman, but
but a Ragman book.
a Ragman book, a Shade the Changing Man, something like the Young Animal
Okay.
stuff. Like
You
those
mean Vertigo?
or Vertigo. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them. I mean, those are things that'll pull me in, and I would much rather see that by talent that is hungry and using this as a place to foster and grow talent where there are less consequences. You'll play in a universe that will have end outcomes due to actions in other books. Let them toy around in that. They can play, get a feel for what continuity is, what consequences are like before you bring them up to your mainline continuity DC. I think using that as a playground makes a lot more sense to foster creativity. That's what's going to sell me on it. That's what's going to get me to buy a book.
For me, the characters don't matter because I know what characters are going to use. Like, they're going to do Trinity, and then, like, ooh, here's someone you didn't expect. Blue Beetle, you know? For me, it's
Green
creators for me.
Lantern.
Yeah. It's the creators for me that really cements it. Like, I'm okay with Scott Snyder doing a DC book if it's like, I don't like the Avengers or the Ultimates for this Ultimate Universe. That's fine with me. Flo, like Mark Miller's Superman, would I want to read that? I actually would, just not as part of a bigger universe. Just give me a Black Label book of that. Let it stand alone by itself. That's what I would want for that. But I would want younger creators, newer creators, more diverse creators. Something that when DC was first formed couldn't have happened. So that would sell me if anything. But honestly, I don't think it's going to sell me no matter what. But
Akira Yoshida.
Thanks, Flo. For the super chat, I really appreciate it. I don't want to be like negative, but I don't think that there's like an answer to this question. Because I feel like I'm happy enough with DC's current books.
Yeah, I feel that.
I don't know why this would be so meaningfully different. Like, we lived through the New 52. To me, the New 52 is DC's Ultimate Universe. I know it's not one-to-one, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
It felt fresh. It felt radical. And that was enough for me. And that was mainline. So it felt important. You had to read it. And in a company like DC, where reboots are the norm and offshoots are the norm, if you're not committing to a mainline reboot, then I don't think you're that serious.
Sean, Inikadoa in the chat does mention that they wouldn't mind a Hickman-led DC Ultimate Universe. And Hickman at DC has been like that what if, that real big what if in comics within the last decade, I think, with like his Legion talk and stuff. Is that enough to convince you? He brings his Bible over.
No, because as brilliant as Jonathan Hickman is, I would hate it to be the case that the first time that I'm reading Hickman DC stuff is in Ultimates, and I would love for him to kind of get away from this idea that he has to architect these huge revolutions and just kind of tell like really good stories. Like, plant your roots, stick with something, tell real good stories. I want to read his Superman. I want to read what he has to say with the Legion, even though I don't care about the Legion. Like, I probably will. So for me, I'd rather see Hickman doing mainline stuff. The other thing I wanted to say is that Scott Snyder's a busy boy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the dude has the Substack. He's got all these Amazon original titles which have launched, and I don't know what stage they're in, but we're still getting them. Go ahead.
A lot of them are actually finishing up right now. I mean,
He's a
they
part
were-
of
they were set
Distillery.
lengths.
He just did an interview actually with
Distillery,
Comic
yeah.
Pop, and he talked about how he shout out to them by the way, but he talked about how he plans to work on one superhero book that he can't talk about, and he wanted to have like just a few other projects and get away from doing like 12 projects or whatever. But even if you go by that, he's also show running the Witcher's writer's room as well. So yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that's what this dude is involved with. So does he really even have the time to spearhead a project like this? And I thought distillery was his major commitment. All these distillery creators are doing 50,000 other things. But I don't know. I don't this doesn't do it for me.
I think it would have to be sort of what we talked about earlier with 5G. And I think that it might have to be done similar to what we're seeing with the Ultimate titles right now, in that we need to see a piece of history snap off and go the other way. And like let DC commit to that to the future.
I like that.
For that.
What do you mean? Can you explain?
Like the
So-
Spider-Man thing.
The Spider-Man thing.
You're saying like a piece of history snapping off and like branching out, right, to like an
Yeah.
alternate trajectory. And Peter not getting bitten by a spider is a big thing in the Ultimate Universe currently.
That's a start.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So as an example, in 5G, Superman loses his powers, right? In any other normal story, DC would have him get him back and it would be fine. They'll move on to the next creative team and
I
it will
see.
be as if nothing has ever happened.
Okay.
This line has to be affected by that to the future.
Right. It is the consequence, and that is
Even if he gets his powers back, he still has to deal with the stuff that happened because he lost his powers.
okay. I'm tracking.
Yes.
And all the 5G stuff that had been rolled out by, Dave Didio and all the other creators, like, maybe it doesn't necessarily all that stuff doesn't necessarily happen the way it was planned out that way, but they have to let that line go and live and figure it out along the way.
Right. Like Superman gets the mullet. Now he has to live with that consequence. He has to take pictures like that.
Mullets are
people
back
will-
in, Marco. Mullets are back in.
and I fucking hate it. Okay.
Listen, and you're on the right side of history for that.
I think Ultimate, what was announced near Comic-Con, like Peach Momoko doing Ultimate X-Men, I think in terms of a creator thing, like that's what I'm interested in too, where you get this really hot creator who you don't associate with superhero comics really, and you just let them do their thing. I mean, we don't know what that's going to be, so I can't really speak to the content of it, but it definitely looks different than the rest of the stuff. So.
Gilmerick Smith says Sean Murphy, and I don't hate that.
But he has his universe. He has
His own
Murphyverse.
Batman. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he has any incentive to actually do that. Yeah.
yeah.
He's
It's
having a
not,
grand
it's
old
not a
time.
rental property, so
Yeah,
why would
he's just
you
doing
care?
Airbnbs instead.
Landlords are people too, Kale.
No, they're not.
So I lost my there we go. Okay. Amin Perez in the chat, who's got a green name for some reason. I wonder why. We'll talk about
That's
that a
weird.
little later. Says, I feel like independent books are not as hot as creators thought. Many of them want to come back to the big two now. And that harkens back to something that and Comic Boom referenced it, that Mark Miller said that the big two needs big
Oh, that's
writers
right.
to go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to it. And you know what? I think look, Scott Snyder, if we're using him as the example, has put out a shitload of creator-owned indie books to varying degrees of success. And we don't have numbers anymore to really say how successful these have been or not been. But for the most part, they've been a part of a larger package. So the Comixology deal was a package. And I'm assuming that he raked money in through that package, not necessarily relying on the individual sales of any given book. And maybe he had his cake and ate it too by getting some back end off the physicals. Who knows? Distillery. That's a package. That's ownership. That's being a part of a larger company now. But he hasn't really like let it fly on indie books that have to sell in order for him to earn an income. I think, and this is kind of what he said in the interview with Sal, that he just wanted to like vomit, like get it out. And I don't say that in a negative way. He wanted to like get it all out.
All his stories.
Right. The stuff he can't do at the big two and then go back. That's what I think. But I don't think that the majority of the creators who have done the big old exodus are looking to go back. When I look at people like Rick Remender, or I look at people like Brian K. Vaughan or Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, or honestly take your pick of the upper echelon of people who've left, I don't know that they're going back.
And then when you have things like Ghost Machine, where the creativity is really within their control,
they double down.
Yeah,
on leaving.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah,
which is what no one else has done, because everybody else, all the distillery people, are still working at DC, all of them. So no one else has said, "Okay, we're exclusive. We're out of the pool."
I guess Remender too with Giant Generator is doing
absolutely
it as well with the artists.
Yes. Yeah. Good point. All those artists are out of the pool. I guess I was more talking about the recent, like mostly the distillery people.
Sure.
But you're right. Giant Generator out of the pool. And so to me, yeah, you've got Mark Miller, and yes, that would sell for sure. There's no doubt. I think his Superman will sell. I just question whether the same guy who was at the tip of the spear 20 years ago on an Ultimate reboot should also be the voice or a prominent voice behind a new Ultimate reboot. I worry about that. But will it sell? Yeah. Will I read it? Hell yeah. I have one more thing that I wanted to bring up. And this is the movie part. Because there happens to be a major reboot coming to the films by James Gunn. And James Gunn is looking directly at comics. We know he's tight with Jim Lee, who was an architect of the New 52. He's looking directly at comics and he's saying, all right, comics, what do you got for me? The same Kevin Feige playbook.
Yeah.
And they're going to need this to work for years. So it wouldn't surprise me if James Gunn and Jim Lee have sat down and had a conversation about ways to mutually benefit from a relationship. And I don't know if there's a better way for them to mutually benefit than a flat Ultimate Universe that James can pull from and promote. I think that makes sense.
Pull from
Like
or
new stories?
New stories.
So that wouldn't really be pulling from as much as creating it simultaneously.
No,
Right.
because James Gunn's not an architect. The same way that Marvel is setting the stage in the comics for the X-Men's arrival in the films, I'm saying that.
But-
3-year
but-
difference, sort of.
Yeah, like I'm sure that James Gunn's stories are years out for the films. But what's next? What's after that? What were you gonna say, Marco?
I mean, I was gonna say if that's the case, comics work in a similar long-term perspective. So I feel like, hey, this is what I'm doing for my first iteration of movies. What can we lead into from here? How are you telling your stories? Cool, you're gonna go that angle. Okay, I can start to prep and do the things that you'll write the script while I'm working on the movie. You're working on the art kind of thing. Like I can see that being a timeline. I don't like that.
I mean, brother, that's the manga pipeline. That's the manga and anime pipeline.
Oh, you know what? You said that. I take it back. Hold on a second. I take it back.
See?
'Cause
Flip flop, no morals.
No. Because that's a good point.
That's Marco's whole thing.
Hey, oi, oi.
Flip flop, no morals. Beep boop, beep boop.
Because there's a level of novelty when it comes to having that pipeline, right? It's direct access. News stories get pushed out quickly, and typically they tend to do really well. Like I think if you get a series of writers who build that world, that universe, who are invested and have stakes in it, that's going to be on the part of DC to make them care for that. But that can produce good stories to then translate into films, as opposed to taking older stories which have that familiarity. You can lean into that. I think it makes sense to hold off on those classics, see what gets pumped out through the new stuff, the same way that anime manga would. That was a good point, Kale. Before dipping their toe back into, well, we can also do, the ultimate version of Crisis, or the ultimate version of, I don't know, whatever, Invasion. But they'll have the new stuff to build upon and work off. I don't know. Actually, that seems to make sense.
You just said a bunch of gobbledygook. I don't like. Did anybody else get any of that? He just talked himself into something, and like it made no sense.
The essential point that Marco is making is that if there is a track of this is the idea, this is the comic, this is the movie, or the TV show, or whatever, that will make it cleaner and easier for people to follow. Which is literally exactly what you were saying, Kale, about the manga anime track. And I think that when you look at what James Gunn has pulled from and sourced of late, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that's very recent.
Yeah.
Not all of the stuff he sourced is recent, but I think it's either recent or timeless.
Noteworthy.
Yeah. And so that makes sense to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong personally with that kind of track, because we clearly already know that it works. And Marvel doesn't do that. Marvel absolutely doesn't do it in the same way, because when you look at what they do, they go, oh, hey, Secret Invasion. Cool. Let's take that name and do nothing with it.
Let's fuck it up.
I think the only time I could think of like where it was done was when Avengers came out and they did Avengers Assemble, Michael Bendis. And I think it was Bendis, and it was like a movie, a team of Avengers that was the same lineup as the movie. And it was in continuity.
Yeah. But it also it evolved to add other characters.
It did.
I remember.
Yeah. Yep.
Kelly Sue did a run that was
you're right.
Highly not acclaimed, but it was talked about a lot.
Yeah. But then they never did it again. I felt like it was like a weird one and done thing, which I think did well in terms of like we had sales numbers at the time. Like it was doing decent, which promoting the comics that can then tie in with the movies simultaneously, novel idea, I guess.
Unfortunately, but yeah, it kind of is.
Which is crazy.
And my last thought, I guess, is that I think that is the only way that this feels necessary, or at least justifiable. Because outside of that, I don't know that we need to get to a place where we have an ultimate universe. I think DC's efforts and their best talent should be dedicated to making mainline DC feel as fresh and exciting as possible. Put the fucking forest fires out and do something meaningful. Do something great in the books. We need them to be great.
So not putting out wildfires.
Well, leave that to Smokey. I love Smokey.
Marco, was that a Scott Snyder joke?
No, that was a Titans joke, because they should be doing other things.
I thought you were talking about Snyder's Wildfire book.
He's got a book called Dark Spaces Wildfire.
Right. Yeah, no.
You can only be so clever, Tyler. Good for sales. I mean, yeah. I think it would be good for sales. Would it be good for my wallet? No.
So good for sales.
Bean's gonna be struggling.
Dude, I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna retract. Because it's a lot. It's
The
too
rubber
much.
band will snap at one point.
Yeah, I'm buying more books than I care about as it is. And there are too many universes and too many writers and too many artists and too many characters doing too many books. Something has to give. And I don't know, like Elseworlds, if it's not for this podcast, I'm not buying it. Not.
Something's got to give, and it's my wallet.
It's alternate universes. I don't even like them. I don't care about that shit. I'm gonna buy a DC Ultimate Universe. I mean, if it's good, I'll buy it. But I don't care about it.
If it's a number one, I'll buy it.
If it's a number one, I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll give any number one a chance.
I'm not buying any of those Elseworlds books, but there's a Greg Smallwood one, so I'm probably gonna buy that one.
Oh shit. All right, yeah, but we're gonna read that for the show. That's how I'll get around.
Yeah. That came from up high above us to read that book. Yeah, we got a lot of control over that. Yeah.
What can we say? We're on a divine mission.
God, we struggle so much to get Marvel and DC to acknowledge us, like in the background, like for the business, and like just like the way we have to like. Well, I mean, come on, like. Like Tyler just said, like the Greg Smallwood that was from up high. Like the up high is us. Like
whoa. Like, don't peek behind the curtain,
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like we couldn't. We very well couldn't.
I'm known for having a Jello spine, so
I'll tell you this right now. Having to put together Pals Pulls for next week. The first distillery book. I think it's the first single like creator distillery book, not The Devil's Cut, is coming out by Jock, and it looks great. I think it's going to be great, but it's $8.99, and I made the decision that we're not gonna pay for that. Like, I'm not gonna say, hey guys, all right, time to plunk down $8.99 to review every distillery book. There's no way.
$8.99, holy shit!
I'm gonna buy it. But we're not going to do it for this show because it's too much. It's too expensive.
I don't even think I could get it.
That's true because they don't have a digital. Because when Devil's Cut came out, no, they haven't released it yet.
I'm not saying Devil's Cut had an online release. I'm saying that Distillery has a plan for online releases through that. I mean, we all talked about that.
Sure, yeah, but they're not launching with it, which is confusing.
It's all confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy it. It's just going to be an NFT, Kale.
Right.
Yeah, so you can make money on it down the road.
Right.
Maybe it'll get you into a super secret dinner.
Ooh. That I'll have to attend?
Yeah, a super secret dinner that I won't be able to go to.
Give me the ticket.
Yeah. Do your worst, DC. I hope it's good. If they do it, I hope it's good. And if you're looking for a showrunner, I don't know that there's a comic book writer or creator right now who's better for that kind of position, show running, than Snyder or Hickman. Those are the only two that I can really. The only one of those has actual experience show running in the film and television space. So we'll be there, DC, because we're suckers.
Well,
we're supporters here.
I'm a sucker, and I force them to read these books.
Right.
We support comics.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, Marco, you're right. We support comics.
Come on.
Yes. And if you want to support us and help us support comics, we have a major announcement to make. So, if you are in the live chat, you may have noticed that a couple of people have green names and they've got some snazzy emojis. And that is the result of us launching channel memberships on our YouTube page. There is a join button next to our our channel name, if you're watching a video of ours, if you're on our YouTube landing page, that gives you access to become a channel member. You know, we don't launch things. We don't want to launch things that we don't believe in. We don't want to launch things that we haven't really thought about. Is there value in this? We try to pack as much value into every single thing that we do as we can. And we feel like this is an extension of that. You know, we really love our YouTube community. You guys have been amazing to us, and we want to give back, and we want to do some cool things with you guys. And so we did decide to launch this channel membership on YouTube. We have 2 tiers. The first tier, you guys can become a sidekick, and that's going to give you the loyalty badge, which is pretty cool. It's next to your name whenever you chat in the live chat. And you get some channel emojis, some custom channel emojis. Right now, we've got 1 for each of our heads. More to come. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Or you can become a VIP, a VI pal, a very important pal. And not only is that going to give you the emojis and the badge, but that's going to give you brand new timed exclusive videos that no one will see before you. We're going to put those out for our channel members. And then, you know, after a couple of weeks, we'll make them available to everybody else. But we want to give you guys that early access because you're choosing to support us. So we want to do what we can for you. And more to come, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
More to come. More emojis, more exclusive stuff. We want to make this special for you guys that choose to join us. So thank you to everybody that does. Nothing else is changing. If you enjoy this show, Pals, Pulls, the book club, all that stuff is staying the same. This is just a little something extra. If you want it, if you want to partake. But if you don't, we appreciate you and we're happy that you're here anyway.
The only downside to this, really, is that if you're on the sidekick tier, like, it's sort of a grab bag as to whose sidekick you are, right? Like, you know, if you end up as Marco's sidekick, who knows what awful, boring marketing stuff you're going to have to sit through.
Shenanigans.
You know?
That's
What do
true.
you mean? I got the Mugiwara hat. That
See, like, just awful. Awful.
word. Classy, you're right. We do need more Marco emojis. 100%.
I would like to revoke Catherine. So, Catherine, thank you for signing up as a VI pal. I know I'm in the chat says, also joined. Tom Account, thank you. But can we revoke Catherine's? Just her emoji usage was a little too directly attacking me at that point. So I'm just going to say, I mean, if that's what you want to do with emojis and you're going to pay for it, screw it.
You know
go
what?
ahead.
I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to endorse Catherine's emojis.
Me too.
All right, well, I'm outvoted.
Fully endorsed. Thank you, Atomic Hound. Really appreciate you signing up. Those of you who are on our Patreon page and are also signing up for this, you guys are MV pals. You guys are amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, you know, we have no expectation of anyone. If it's up to you. It's completely your choice, and we value every listener. So thank you guys.
Especially if they make fun of Tyler.
And join me on my misadventures, apparently.
Alman Perez in the chat says we need more VIPs here. Hey, that's what he says, and I'm not going to disagree. You know what, Tyler? I don't know that. Tyler asked if you guys get no ads. I don't know that. I think YouTube wants more money from you. So if you want no ads, I think you have to be on YouTube Premium.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the specifics of that. Like maybe you just get no ads on a particular channel. I'm not sure. But
that'd be nice. I would love that for all of you.
Top lane, Alman Perez in the chat just gifted a subscription.
Wow.
A membership.
Shout
y'all
out.
y'all just throwing cash our way. Thank you.
who can we tell who
Didn't even
gets
know
who
we
gets
could
the
do that.
gifted one, or is it just like, oh, somebody gets it and surprise?
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you got that, or if you know who got it, I would love to see. I would love to know who gets that, because that's really cool. Speaking of, oh my God, Catherine says, I'm going to read that. I'm going to read it. She's a VI pal. We got to we got to read all the VI Pal comments, right? My husband came up to me and goes, "You talking about feet?" And I scrolled up to show him my message. Well, that is Tyler's fetish.
It's not. It's not.
The kink.
It's a bit. Please, it's a bit.
Uh-huh.
I just want the listeners to know, regardless of what Tyler just said, it's not. That's not true. That is not true.
He puts it all in our private threads.
Yeah.
Like unprompted.
No, I don't do
that. I don't
that-
do that.
Can
He's
that
walking
face,
around in a foot costume
Oh,
going,
that-
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm,
We're all
I'm
looking
making,
for the
I'm
guy
making
who
future
did this.
emojis, Sean. I'm making future emojis right now.
Can we clip that face so I can make an emoji out of it?
Yes.
That's when it's that one's called Tyler's really trying to convince us he doesn't sniff feet.
Ooh.
Hey,
We
it's
need
Tyler's. It's not the scream.
think
It's
that-
Tyler's the sniff.
that is absolutely nasty.
Well, I guess we kink shame with the comics pals.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I don't
whoa,
kink shame.
whoa.
We
It's
don't
not
mean-
shame.
Sorry, yeah, we don't mean to
It's not
sorry.
shame.
No, not at all. You sniff as many feet as you want to, buddy. So on the subject of, our listeners and those of you who take the extra step to support, there are a lot of you that support us on Patreon, patreon.com/thecomicspals, where we are always giving you bang for your buck. We have had quite a month, quite a busy few weeks with Comic-Con and everything like that. So, everyone who's gone the extra mile for us at this time, and I want to specifically, I'm going to specifically shout them out in a moment, but you guys are amazing. Really, really, really amazing. Thank you so much. And whether you know it or not, it helps us. I mean, if you look at our setup from Comic-Con this year and the mics that we had, it gets all techie, but like that whole setup was the nicest, breeziest setup we've ever had. And that's absolutely 100% due to our patrons, like 100%. So thank you so much. And while I'm thanking you, I might as well give a special shout out to the best pals in the universe, Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro, the Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound, and joining that group, becoming one of the best pals in the universe, is none other than Starcross Catherine Stars.
Hey,
Whoa.
let's
Yes.
go.
Man.
Kale, can you do
Bold
the balloon emojis with your camera again?
Oh yeah,
I don't know how I do it.
thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Nope.
I think
Doesn't
it-
want
I
to
think it
work
was
when
the
you want it
peace
to.
sign. I think it was the peace sign.
No, wait.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. Thanks, Steve Jobs.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey.
So, thank you. It's almost like Catherine is the star
Nice.
of our channel between the VIP and the upgrade there. So thank you so much, particularly to you guys, Atomic Hound. You already know, what you've done for us. You know what you've done. So thank you.
You
Huge
know
thank
what you've done.
But of course, I don't want to leave anyone out, and I want to say thank you as well to the Night Stalker, Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Joel Justice, Jalen the Sanguine Sorcerer, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, Marvelous Mike and Mackenzie, Marley Manistorm, and joining the Palsverse
Whoa.
is Slow Flow Dameron. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so,
I have to do some work for this one, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
oh, no. Don't worry at all.
Slow flow. Is this okay? Never mind.
Yes. So, Slow Flow Dameron grew up as Paul Dameron. And Paul Dameron, normal life, normal family, loves his mom and dad, single or only child. And one night, his parents and they were out on the town. Maybe they even caught a show. And they were attacked. They were attacked by a vicious criminal who's become influenced by all of the horrible things that have been happening in New York recently. And so they're being robbed. And this nasty criminal pulls out a gun and shoots at Flo's parents. And this is the moment where they would die. But Flo Dameron is somehow able to stop time. And he pushes the bullet out of the way and saves his parents, and they escape imminent death. And this is how Flo learns that he can stop time and slow it down and all of that. It takes a lot out of him. Bloody nose, exhaustion, but he can do it. And his parents are none the wiser. And so, Slow Flo is having to learn the place that he wants to have in this universe of people who are all of a sudden developing powers. But when he sees a meteor crashing into the sky, he knows that whatever that was, he has to use his powers to be a part of stopping that threat. So thank you, Slow Flo Dameron, for joining the Palsverse. And we're excited to see your adventures in the months and years to come.
Nice to see the Palsverse has a Chad Paul as well.
Yes. Yes.
Can you imagine saving your parents' lives and not because of your superpower and not holding it above their heads for
They
the
wouldn't
rest
hear
of
the
their
end of it.
lives?
Yeah.
Clean your room, Slow Flo. Clean
Can I
my
get
room?
that? Can I get that?
You
new
want me
Tony
to clean
Hawk
my
game?
room? I saved your life.
You're lucky
So
you have a room.
it smells a bit like the turtle from the Flash with the Flash's origin
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
Mm.
Which
I
I,
don't even know
love
that
the
character.
turtle from the Flash. That's a great character.
He's a great character.
When he gets a bloody nose, does he have to slow the flow of?
Well, Sylv Stevenson in the chat brought up the fact that flow is another term for another thing.
Oh, I was gonna make. I was gonna.
Well,
make
yeah, we didn't have the flow part's not ours.
Most powerful character in the universe? Maybe. Neon Knight, Cosmic Avenger has something to say about that. Which, of course, for those of you who have been really paying attention to the Palsverse, of course, you know that the meteor was him.
I definitely knew that.
Yeah. So
do you have a flow chart, Sean, of everything where it exists?
Flow chart?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, nice.
Slow flow chart.
No, Tyler. I'm just the architect of this universe, so the Bible's in my brain.
All right, Hickman.
Locked in.
That's not how that works.
Yeah,
if that's the case, Sean might be leaving the show without telling us.
I wouldn't do that. We've had that happen enough. So lots of fun things on offer on Patreon. You guys know the deal. We try to do as much as we can for you all. And I am sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I was going to say I'm sorry for the spiel here, but you guys are doing a lot for us. So I love shouting you guys out, and I love taking time to talk about you. So thank you.
Can I shout out one more? You got we, as you all know, especially if you're in the chat, we have a Discord where you should all come hang. Kingdom of Nerds literally just joined.
Yep.
Oh,
and they've been hanging out in the chat, getting to know everybody. Thrilled to have you.
beautiful. Love it. Thank you for joining the Discord. Hero, villain, or anti-hero? I think Flo probably wants to be a hero, but time will tell. Time will tell.
Should they change their mind?
Yeah. The only other thing I want to mention is the upcoming book club on October 30th, which is a Monday, the day before Halloween. We will have a live book club for the first time ever. We're going to be talking about The Long Halloween for the first time ever. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you guys will join us. I think it's going to be great. We want to specifically hear from you and talk with you about this book. So let's make that part of the fun of the book club. It's getting to come together to talk about these books. So we hope you'll join us on October 30th for this book club. All right, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun because it is time for the top 5, the Comics Pals Countdown top 5 Batman comics. Number 2. That's what we're up to. And I think Kale, sorry, go ahead, Tyler. I think Kale, you've got to give us your third.
Yeah.
So why don't you kick us off with your third? And chat, if you're listening to this, if you can hear me, first of all, hit the like button, smash it. Let's get to our goal.
Smash it.
Yeah, let's do 25. So do that, but also share your number 2. I'm dying to see it. Kale, you kick things off.
You got it. My number 3 is Batman: The Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Ooh.
Oh,
Interesting.
I'm with that. Yeah.
I like that book more than Returns, which is a
Wow.
very controversial position.
Yeah, it sure is.
That is a cancelable take.
Hey, cancel me. I think it's because I found that earlier than it was a formative read for me. You know, I was just getting to know all these characters, and it was sort of a first look into a possible future and alternate universe. And the stuff in it is so raw. You know, you can really feel the stuff that Frank Miller's going through. And I mean, obviously I knew about 9/11 at the time, but I didn't, I didn't know he was part of that, that was connected to that. But I have a very soft spot for that book. And I really, really love it and enjoy it.
I don't disagree.
I'm right.
I think it's a criminally slept on book.
Yeah.
It has issues for sure.
For sure.
But as a
66.
piece that is such a visceral reaction to something from a creator,
Yeah.
it's like he bleeds on the page, and it's still Batman, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
very
powerful parts aren't even Batman.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the thing that has always stuck out to me with that book is the death of Captain Marvel. He says he's been saving people for days on end or whatever, and he is at his last end, and Wonder Woman tells him, turn back to Billy, get some rest. And Marvel's like, look, Billy's been gone a long time. My man got sick, and I've been stuck as Captain Marvel. I'm out. She's like, what's gonna happen? He goes, what happens to a wish?
Wow.
And he, he's like, I gotta go. I can't do this. And she's like, well, go out like a warrior. And he says the name, and he's gone. It's incredible.
I don't know if I've read Dark Knight Strikes Again.
I have to reread that.
I think you will hate it.
Yeah.
But I think it's powerful, and I don't think it gets enough credit for what it wants to do, whether or not it does it.
Okay, so why don't you, since you're in the driver's seat, why don't you hit us off with your number 2?
Number 2. This one might also be controversial, but controversial by the rules. Now, in Grant's Batman run, Grant did a story called The Clown at Midnight that was an all text with weird, like, computer generated 3D art images, that were only here and there. I think that's my number 2. That specific issue, The Clown at Midnight.
Okay.
I think Grant established something there that was so horrifying, it couldn't have been put into images.
And that's Batman number 663.
Oh, 663. I was hoping it was 666.
So
That was the Damien one.
Yeah, it's the Damien one. Yeah.
do I have to be the one to say it, or Marco, Tyler, do you want to say it?
What? That's not a comic.
Oh, it's definitely a comic.
Oh.
It's like not even a Batman story.
He did
Batman
say it would be
is in it.
controversial.
Bruce Wayne is in it.
All right, hey, if that's your number 2, then that's your number 2. It's good.
Kale's second favorite Batman comic is just words.
Hey, listen, if the pictures could do it justice, I would be all for it. But
The theater of the mind.
They describe like a mosquito landing on Joker's bandages and like drinking the Joker's blood, and the mosquito dies, and it's so visceral. Man, I like every time I read that issue, I get something new out of it.
Yeah, that is a genuinely a fan. I used to skip it like when I first started, but then like now I read it and I'm like, oh shit, this is actually crazy. Real quick, Kale, Aaron Ruiz asked a question. Just quickly, did you hear what Marco said about year 1 last week?
You're absolutely right. My reaction to The Dark Knight Strikes Again isn't strong enough. It's fine. It's it's a competent book.
It's a good book.
Decent. Well, Marco, why don't you tell us what shitty book you picked for your number 2?
I had so it was year 1.
Did you write your list down? Like, do you have it?
I have 0 year 1, Hush, and number 2. I was gonna go with Killing Joke. It's connected to my initial readings of just comics in general. You're hitting all the big books, and it's a story that's stuck with me. I like the way that it opens and ends and feels cyclical, and I think that dynamic between Joker and Batman is cyclical, and it will be something that forever permeates comics. So yeah, I think that's my number 2. It's representative of Batman in story as well.
Okay. Controversial book, but it's good. I honestly, I don't think it should be controversial, but I get why it is, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man, my list is so cookie cutter.
Dude, mine too. We're traditional Batman fans.
I mean, if you had expanded this to Batman books, that's not Bruce Wayne, I think it would have been very different. But
then we'd all have Black Mirror,
I would have put Batwoman Elegy on there, honestly. But
okay, well,
y'all fucking keep complaining about that. Like, it's a simple stipulation.
I'm just saying.
80 years of Batman stories, of Bruce Wayne stories. Like, this is a complicated thing. Like, you've never read a Bruce Wayne Batman story? Come on.
Why are you
This
yelling
isn't
at
hard.
me?
Dad, stop.
Every single one of you.
I didn't say I made this.
I'm not
rule.
you, your mom. Stop. I'm not yelling at you.
You're turning this car around now.
I have to pee. All right, my number 2 is Batman Long Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb. Fantastic book. Great Harvey Dent in this book. So I don't want to speak too much about it because we're going to be talking about it in a little over a week. So
tune in.
Yeah.
Before I get to mine, Kingdom of Nerds with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you joining the Discord as well. They say you guys are a breath of fresh air with so much negative content out there. You guys inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. Oh my God. Wow.
That's awesome.
That really is incredible. Thank you for saying that.
I was going to apologize because now you have to deal with YouTube.
Wow.
Well, hey, we've been lucky enough to curate a space of YouTube that is pretty chill. So honestly, if you make that your business, if you build it, they will come. That's kind of what we've done. And we've been lucky enough that we haven't really dealt with a lot of BS. So if you ever need advice, or you have questions about getting yourself started or anything like that, feel free to ask, reach out. I'd love to help you. I'm sure any one of us would lend our advice.
Discord might be a good place for that too. We have the creators channel, so we could throw some stuff in there.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. Flo, unfortunately, Black Mirror doesn't count because I stipulated that it had to be a story in which Bruce was Batman. So,
wait, Marco, do you have a new cat?
I have 2 cats.
I forgot you had 2 cats. That really threw me off. I thought I had time slipped, and no, Spencer is not what I imagined, and that if
never shows
the
up.
viewers, that threw me off.
She wanted cuddles, so
beautiful. So Classy Ulysses says, hot take, but I thought The Long Halloween is just fine. Okay, well, so then it'd be number 1 on your list, right?
number 3. No, number 4.
Number 3.
Number 4.
This book kind of sucks. I thought it was ass. All right, so my number 2.
You guys remember my my video game year picks, and it was all the Pokemon games, and it was just one long review of how much the Pokemon games sucked. Oh, but they were my top of the league.
Right. Yeah. I do remember that actually. My number 2 is a book that's, it's okay. It's just The Long Halloween. So Tyler and I, in sync today. Look, Two-Face is easily my favorite Batman villain, easily my favorite DC villain. I have a very soft spot for Two-Face, and this is the definitive Two-Face story, really. But it's not just that. This is also a book where you get like a ton of the who's who of Batman's rogues gallery. This started, I think, that idea of like, okay, let's take a bunch of villains and line them up boss battle style, like you would do in like a Mega Man game, the boss rush part, in a Batman book where you're getting everybody. And it's something that would get worn out later, but I think here it's done really well. I also think the mystery is great. Every time I read this damn book, I forget the mystery, and then I come back to it, and I'm like, oh shit, that was cool.
I always forget the second twist,
Yeah. So, great comic. Again, we're going to talk a lot more about it. This wasn't planned. It wasn't planned that Tyler and I would have the same pick at the number 2 slot. It's just a really great comic, honestly. Well, it's okay.
Our number 1 might be the same too, actually. But
I think it is. I think it probably is. Yeah.
Y'all just basic.
I mean, when it comes to this list, yeah.
Yo, I love Dawson's Creek, Lady Gaga, Marvel Comics, and Batman. Yes, I'm basic. Yes.
You could have Jerry, you'd be a pumpkin spice bitch.
I think Sean would like pumpkin spice. Yeah.
I doubt it.
I got to introduce you to oat milk, Sean. We can try PSLs.
I don't want oat milk, man. I don't want like an offshoot. I want the real deal.
Please, no, I can't. Please don't.
Oat milk is actually delicious. I will say, high fan of oat milk.
Yeah, I agree with Dan also, who says, I also appreciate how it carries the plot lines from year 1 forward.
Yeah.
It feels like a sequel, but it doesn't feel like a slavish sequel. It's just really great. And so next week, actually, well, I'll say this and then we'll get to what I was going to say. Next week is each of our final pick, and that's going to dovetail nicely into the Long Halloween Book Club, which is on October 30th live. And I wonder if anyone has Long Halloween as their number 1 pick.
Well,
don't
keep wondering.
Yeah, we'll find out next week. I just want to hit a couple of chatters picks. Atomic Hound said for number 2, he's going with Strange Apparitions from Detective Comics 469 to 476. which features Hugo Strange.
Ooh.
Oh, we just super chatted about it.
Oh, there's a super
Damn,
chat.
dog.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
We
thank
got
you.
there. Okay.
Atomic
Read-
Cat.
Read it again.
Atomic Cat. I'm gonna read it again. Atomic Cat with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, bud. Strange Apparitions, otherwise Detective Comics 469476, with Hugo Strange, the Deadshot Joker, the Laughing Fish, and Silver St. Cloud, inspired Batman 89, among other things. That's one that I haven't read, but Hugo Strange is one of my favorite Batman villains of all time. And the story that he's in was that Ego? No. His big story where he dresses up as Batman.
Arkham City.
That aped this.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but it's which I apologize. It's that would have been my number 6.
Yeah, was it not Arkham?
No. I think it's Ego, but I could be wrong. No,
I
it's
think
not.
it's Ego.
Hair
Sorry.
or Prey is what I got.
Prey. It's
Oh,
Prey.
okay.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a great one.
Doug Mensch.
That dude's a
that.
munch. Yeah. You know what was almost on my list? The Batman Elmer Fudd one shot.
Oh,
Good
Tom
book.
King.
Fantastic book.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, classy out here. We need a Batman's all stories tier list. God damn.
We can't even agree on what stories to include.
Because they're mostly fine.
I would just use someone else's tier list at that point so I can scrub away any responsibility.
The consensus we have is Batman: The Long Halloween.
I'm not reading that comment, Harris. I hope you know that. And I wanted to, Amin Perez also said number 3 was Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne, and number 2 was Dark Knight Returns. Return of Bruce Wayne gets a lot of hate. I love it. I don't know why people don't like it, but
Doesn't make a damn lick of sense. That's why.
it totally does. What?
Not a damn lick of sense.
How many times have you dove into that one?
Twice.
It's up them reps, because listen,
What?
Yeah, keep
do I
reading the
have?
thing you
You
don't
know
like,
the
Kale.
routine. It's Morrison. You read that damn text fucking clown fish.
Yeah, and
Book.
it makes sense.
Okay,
tell
but how
me-
many times did
you telling me-
you just told me you skipped it first?
You telling me Batman the Man can climb through time?
Yes, because he got shot.
It
By the
doesn't
Omega
make
Beam.
sense.
The Omega Beam, Kale.
Did he get shot by a special gun, actually?
No, Batman shot Darkseid with a special gun.
That's what it was.
Darkseid shot him with the Omega Beam, and he chose that it would send Batman through time because Darkseid has ultimate control over what the Omega Beam does, apparently.
That's the whole Barbados thing, too, though, right? Barbados.
That is that same,
That's
yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
Didn't Darkseid
I'm
travel
not a
through
big
time?
Barbados guy, but
I don't think Darkseid can travel through time.
So weird.
Yeah.
So his eyes shoot lasers that can make people travel through time, but he can't.
if he so chooses.
Word.
The Omega Sanction is the weirdest thing ever.
Give me
I love
that Hickman
Darkseid.
book. Was it Fourth World?
That'll be good. I'm sure that's something Hickman would want to tackle. Something I don't think Hickman would want to tackle is a kick-ass reboot.
Huh?
I know. So Kick-Ass is a Image comic that was written by Mark Miller with art by Ramita. And it's a book that I don't know if I want to say it changed the game, but I definitely think it was very impactful. It was a grounded hero, a street level hero that's not a part of any other bigger universe, who's just a dude, a nerdy dude, who decides he's going to take matters into his own hands and kick ass. And he gets his ass kicked more than he does the ass kicking. And the book was a huge success. And then we got the movie. And the movie was a pretty decent hit as well.
Yeah, it's good. That was a transformative movie, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe I'm couching my language. Maybe it was bigger than I'm even giving it credit for.
It was enough that the movie did well enough to warrant a sequel, which then made the comic have a sequel.
Right.
Yeah, we got Kick-Ass 2, and then we also got the offshoot. They rebooted it with a new person as Kick-Ass. I don't know if you guys read that, but
I didn't.
she was a black woman actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Pretty
Kick-Ass
cool.
3, right?
Was that Kick-Ass 3?
Maybe.
But either way,
yeah.
it was an
I think
extension.
it was, yeah.
Yeah. So we learned from Comic-Con, actually, a little bit of Comic-Con Fallout news that it is getting rebooted. Matthew Vaughn had a panel at Comic-Con. He talked about a lot of things. And one of the things that he talked about was Kick-Ass and the fact that we're getting a reboot. He said, quote, Kick-Ass changed people's perception of what a superhero film is. We're doing it again. None of the other characters from the other Kick-Ass are in it, though. We'd like to have them back after the reboot. I can't really talk about it, but it's fun.
All right. It's interesting.
That sounds to me like they're probably going to go the route of the comic where they'll do another person as Kick-Ass, but the fact that the other stuff still happened, it just won't be a part of this particular movie. So like a soft reboot.
Yeah. It's in the continuity. It'll stick to that, but let's introduce the first character before we bring back the member berries.
Right.
The premise of Kick-Ass is very evergreen. Everyday normal guy is fed up with the world, and he lives in a world where superheroes kind of exist, and decides to do something about it.
It's a lot of fun.
That first movie is, Nicolas Cage's Big Daddy in that movie is fantastic. Yeah, he just goes for it.
So good, man. Yeah, and Chloe Grace Moretz, that's where she I feel like popped off too.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
She never got her own spinoff though, even though the comic did. I felt like that was a missed opportunity. Give her a Hit Girl movie, but
yeah,
I feel like after a while she was a more sought after actor than Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I agree.
For a minute.
You mean Craven?
Yes.
Yeah.
My question to you guys is, do you care about another Kick-Ass movie? Matthew Vaughn said it changed the way people look at superhero movies. We're doing it again. We're doing it again. We're going to change the way people look at superhero movies. I don't think so. So is there a need? Do you care for more Kick-Ass now?
I think The Boys is doing that for modern superhero movies. The Boys and Genevieve is already that post-superhero movie, post-modern, capes and cowls thing. I think it's done very, very well. That's not to say that Kick-Ass can't do it. I think Kick-Ass was a good response to, pre-MCU superhero movies. If Matthew Vaughn has a take on that, I'm interested in that. Because I really liked Kick-Ass when it came out. Even the comic. I was a bit of an edgelord at the time, so it spoke to me. So I do feel like it needs to do something a little, not mature, but it's got to have an extra wrinkle to it now. I don't think it can just do what it did previously. But I'm not against it.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think it necessarily I don't think it's going to saturate the environment. I think there's a space for it. Whether or not it's going to revolutionize anything, I don't think so. I think Tyler's point is salient. But it is a matter of whether or not it's going to be a fun movie and a fun superhero movie at that. I think so, and I think we need that more than anything else.
I have a weird. Go ahead, Gil.
It's not my thing. I think The Boys and even Invincible are doing things that are, different, and they're doing them better than Kick-Ass is, or Kick-Ass was, and maybe those films couldn't have run so. Anyway, you know what I mean? They wouldn't have existed without Kick-Ass, but also Kick-Ass wouldn't have existed without Mystery Men.
Yeah, I've been talking about Mystery Men all week.
I love that movie.
How much did we talk about Mystery Men at Comic-Con?
There was a guy in a shoveler costume that was fantastic.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's my hero.
I have a wrinkle. And I'm ready to be wrong about this, but I have a wrinkle, which is that I'm wondering if the landscape of superhero films has changed to where a kick-ass movie might not actually be something that people want. Because kick-ass is hyper violent.
Yep.
Hyper violent. Tyler mentioned edgy. It's kind of edgy. You know, it's got a child that curses and kills in it. You know, post Batman v Superman, I think that moviegoers and filmmakers have become extremely conscious of the level of violence and destruction that these movies have. And so I'm wondering if this would actually turn people off. Whereas in 2010, this was something that was really unique to film goers. You know, you had a decade of Iron Man and Spider-Man and X-Men. This was radical. You know, seeing not a speck of blood or minimal like heavy violence. To go from that to what Kick-Ass was, I'm not sure if audiences want that in 2023 or whenever this would come out.
Wasn't there an element of social commentary in the newer Kick-Ass series?
Yeah, it was a black woman, and it was dealing with, you know, that whole thing as told
Well,
by Mark
yeah,
Miller.
and I feel like there was also like she was like a struggling single mother or something.
Yeah.
I like even adding that element to, you know, the hyper violence that Sean is talking about. Like, I just like I feel like that's stuff we're already getting. You know,
Yeah, I think The Boys is doing it.
The Boys, and I
Yeah.
think what's the one I've been talking about that's so good?
You said Invincible too.
Invincible. I'm a Virgo.
Oh yeah, the Netflix show.
No, it's on Amazon.
Is it on
That's
Amazon?
on Amazon here.
Okay.
No.
I don't know.
I think there's still a want for hyperviolence.
Yeah.
I think in terms of mainstream movies, maybe not so much because everything's MCU-ified. But if you can play on the themes and the tropes of the MCU and then make that hyper-violent, I don't really think we've gotten that. But I would think it would need to lean into what makes those movies tick and how do we put our spin on it.
Isn't that Deadpool?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But
It's probably gonna be Deadpool 3 too.
It still has the attachment to the big two, and I think that's distinguishing the differentiator is that this isn't associated to those, so I don't have the expectation or that baggage of, well, this version of Batman and or Superman, because they are iconic characters, is too violent or too edgy for me. This is built into the premise already, and I think because of the media that we have out right now, I think it makes sense that you're going to want to continue to play into that hyper violence. That makes sense to me. I think there is still an appetite for it.
I don't need it personally. I think I don't want to say I've matured. I don't think it's anything like that. Anyone can enjoy anything at any time of their life. I just think that I don't need Kick-Ass anymore. I got The Boys that satisfies whatever, you know, hyper violence itch I might have. And beyond that, I'm good. I don't know. I'm good. Like, I got the movies. It doesn't feel like a thing that needs to be reiterated. That feels like a moment in time that I'm not in.
Yeah. I'm also sort of wondering, like, why now? Why not a few years ago? You know, why didn't Kick-Ass beat The Boys? A third Kick-Ass. Why didn't a third Kick-Ass beat The Boys? Was it
Go ahead,
weird sentence?
Someone said in the chat, someone pointed out Kick-Ass would make a great show. And I think that makes sense. Like a Kick-Ass television show.
Yeah.
Man, if only Mark Miller had some kind of deal with a big streaming platform to produce episodic content.
What a dream. Amin Perez in the chat says, when it came out, it was based heavily into comics. Maybe said it right now when superhero movies and shows are hot and you have some squizzo trying to become a hero. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the approach you would have to take. I do think that. But we'll get it eventually. If Matthew Vaughn is saying it, then I assume that it's happening. Speaking of things that Matthew Vaughn has said, I wanted to quickly touch on the saddest story of the week. The saddest thing I heard coming out of New York Comic Con, which is the reason why Matthew Vaughn quit X-Men 3. A lot of you have probably heard this story already, but if you haven't. So Matthew Vaughn was set to direct X-Men The Last Stand, which was honestly like one of the most hyped movies. I remember being over the moon excited. They were doing the Dark Phoenix saga, all that kind of jazz. Well, he left the project and he went on to be replaced by Bryan Singer. Brett Ratner.
Yes.
Yeah. And so never knew why, but now we do, because at Comic-Con, he said this. One of the main reasons I actually quit X3, and it was a true story, and I don't care if I'm not meant to say it, but Hollywood is really political in an odd way. I went into one of the executives' offices and I saw an X3 script, and I immediately knew that it was a lot of fatter. And I was like, what the hell is this? This draft? Oh, don't worry about it. Like, no, I'm the director. I'm worrying about this draft. Tell me what it is. It wouldn't tell me. So I grabbed it from him. It was like a crazy moment, but I grabbed it. Opened the first page and it said Africa, storm, kids dying. They have no water. She creates a thunderstorm and saves all these children. Okay, that's a pretty cool idea. They said it was the Halle Berry script because she hadn't signed up yet. But once she gets what she wants, it to be, and she signs up, we'll throw it in the bin. And I was like, wow, you're going to do that to an Oscar-winning actress who plays Storm? I am out of here. So I quit. For those of you who weren't around or don't recall, one of the major things about this movie from a production standpoint, pre-production, was the fact that Halle Berry did not want to do the movie unless Storm had a more prominent role. She felt she had been sidelined in X1 and X2. And so this is why she did the movie, because they tricked her.
Whoa.
That is disgusting.
And
They tricked her.
Yeah, arguably, she was the biggest actress.
Of course
that
she
whole
was
franchise.
at that point.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucked up.
As
That is-
Hollywood, baby.
Yeah,
That is hideous.
it is, and but I'm also not surprised by how fucked up and awful it is. I just feel like that was, I don't know, a pre-MCU Hollywood. I feel like, execs could get away with anything, and they would.
Can, I guess.
You're right. It's what's frustrating to me about this and why it's so nasty is that could have been in the movie. Like that is a phenomenal counterpunch to what the movie is about. The movie is about the threat of mutants and why they need the cure. Opening the movie with Storm using her powers to save Africa seems like a pretty good for why mutants should exist. Instead, they showed Angel saving a kid flying around. Or no, not even, excuse me. That's at the end of the movie. They showed him carving his back up to get the wings off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gross. Yeah. This is a real. I don't remember this movie. Like, I remember the Phoenix stuff and I remember Juggernaut. This is a forgettable film.
Yo, I'm going to tell you right now, I could watch this movie any day, anytime, any place.
Do you like it?
No.
Oh, you just hate watch. Got it.
No, I you know what it is, Tyler? At this point in time, a lot of comic book movies didn't feel like comics to me. 2000, 4-ish, 5-ish is when I started reading comics, and I was like, wow, these movies aren't that colorful. Like, I was like, where's all the bombast and bigness and crazy kookiness? And X3, bad as it is, has some of those elements. It feels big. It's got a lot of characters. It's kind of fun. That's the same reason why I watched Spider-Man 3, because it's a little off the rails. It's not as like tight and black and dark and
afraid of its source material.
Right. Yeah. Even though X3 does have the worst scene ever in a comic book movie to me, which is when Wolverine cuts the fucking Sentinel head off, and that's the only part of the Sentinel that we see in the Danger Room sequence.
No, the worst part is Cyclops.
Also,
I'm more cool with that.
Oh,
3 X movies and no Sentinel? Piss off,
Damn.
Fox.
Thought you were just a Famke Janssen stan.
Oh, I am.
well,
I saw her one time at New York Comic Con, and that was a day.
they're still cleaning up the mess.
Jesus Christ.
why they can't get the stank out? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I read this and I know I'm supposed to be shocked by it, but I just wasn't. I read it and my reaction was, yeah, probably. Because you could tell Halle Berry doesn't want to be there.
This is going to sound messed up, but it's like, well, then maybe Halle Berry should have had a better agent and lawyers, you know?
I mean, they showed her a script.
Right. Yeah.
All she asked for was a little bit more to do, and not just, oh, do you know what happens to toads when they get struck by lightning? Oh, what?
To
The
be
same
fair,
thing that happens to everyone else
She got the most iconic line in that movie, so.
because of how dorky it is.
Yeah.
That's all she got to do. So, nasty business on the part of Fox. Is an egregious sin. And good on Matthew Vaughn for leaving, even though I was desperate to see his X3. Speaking of X-Men, it is the 50th anniversary of one Wolverine.
Which
Bob's
one?
old.
Yeah, looking great.
One of them. I don't know which one. Not Albert.
Oh.
Not Albert.
Oh.
And so Marvel is celebrating that by unleashing just a boatload of covers, variant covers that are going to be all over the place. We're getting a Wolverine Mad Report Nights miniseries, which is going to be written by Chris Claremont. It's actually a sequel to Uncanny X-Men number 268 from 1990. We're also getting Sabretooth War. And we're in the middle of the Predator versus Wolverine series. Right. So a lot of Wolverine stuff happening right now.
That's the Chris Hansen Wolverine book, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's so. Where did you take Kitty Pryde? Where did you meet her?
Yeah.
Have a seat.
You're in a lot of trouble, Bub.
Yikes.
Yes, that is exactly. I picture Chris Hansen opening the X Mansion door and walking in and saying that to Wolverine.
Yeah,
I'm best I am at what I do, and what I do is illegal in all 50 states.
What is it that you do so well? So yeah, we're getting a total overload of Wolverine stuff. If you're a Wolverine fan, this is phenomenal for you. We are getting covers by Leinil Francis Yu, Dan Jurgens, Clayton Crane, Todd Knock, Kevin Eastman, just a ton of people. And so they've shown us the first 15 covers that we're going to be getting. Now, Tyler, were you able to get these?
Through trials and tribulation, yeah. And we'll see if the slides work, but the attempt was made, so...
Okay, so what I'm going to ask for is for you guys to open the article that we're pulling from. And what we're going to do, we're going to play a little game. We're going to go down the list of all 15 covers, and we're going to see if we can name the cover that it is a homage to. Okay. So each of these images is, as far as I'm aware, is an homage to another cover. But it's
do you have the answers, Sean?
No, we're going to do
because they're not in the article
live.
You gave me.
And the catch to this game is that Marco goes first
First,
for
okay.
everyone.
Yeah,
This is not
Yeah.
Marco's episode.
I should have seen that coming.
So Marco,
Yeah, I was good.
we all have it up.
Yeah,
I was
it's an
gonna
easy
ride
one.
by-
Easy one.
I was
to
gonna
start
ride
off.
behind you guys and just kind of be like, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew that."
Issue is a little too tricky. I would allow, like, I'm not expecting Marco to get Uncanny X-Men
Storyline.
136.
Yeah.
first
The
one's not
comic
bad.
it comes from. Yeah, absolutely.
I can
So
start with the first one.
If you want to play along at home, you guys can definitely pull this article up. It's from comicbook.com. It's about Wolverine, the 50th anniversary, if you want to do this alongside us. So,
Link it live too.
yeah, absolutely.
I got you.
I at least have it in the same order that the article is in. So
Okay,
Okay.
great. Yeah, so
let's hope
chat
it
will be able
works that
to.
way.
So, Marco,
Ichi,
this is an easy one. Go ahead. This is a gimme.
Infinity Gauntlet.
There you go.
Boom.
It's a good cover, actually, that features like all of Wolverine's eras and variants, and him
It's
with
Todd
the
Knock.
the Todd Knock one, him with the Infinity Gauntlet, with his claws popped. So pretty cool. All right, next, Marco.
This one I'm getting like not Mysterio. Who's the guy? The
Which guy?
Yeah, who is the guy?
the devil dude.
Mephisto.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Well, you're
Yeah,
right.
no.
Oh well, I was gonna say something Spider-Man related with Mephisto doing like
Although I think the homage with Mephisto was done, but that's not the original. Yeah.
So so do you want to take a shot at what book this is from anyway?
I was gonna say Spider-Man.
Okay, so that's absolutely wrong. Does anybody else? I know this one.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, so do
it's
I.
Behold
Yeah.
Vision. It's
Yeah,
Avengers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
good, very good. All on the same table.
Oh, okay.
And I love that it's Behold Albert, who is the
Good one.
robot clone of Wolverine.
Yeah, you're the sole fan of Albert is in this on the show. So
Right? Kingdom of Nerds says X-Men 57 on which one? Which one was X-Men 57?
no, he's redacting to Avengers 57. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Right.
The numbers.
Um,
I don't mean it. I'll trust you on the numbers. I'm so bad with specifics like that.
Yeah, we're not. That's not.
That's not what we're doing.
Yeah. Now, Marco, can you
Okay.
get the next one?
This one has to be Spider-Man.
Okay. Yes.
Nice.
Green
This
Goblin.
is
Come on.
Green Goblin.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
My question with this cover is: what is Sabretooth riding in this? Is he
Yeah.
riding
It's a
plane?
stealth plane, dude.
And also, the
UAV.
plane with the background, I gotta say, not the best choice.
No. Why couldn't he just be on a like a goblin glider?
A glider, yeah,
Yeah,
a saber
yeah.
glider. Have fun with that. Yeah.
Right. Odd choice. Let's hit the next one.
This one I was gonna say Hellcat just because of the cartoony art. But there's something about the running forward that feels familiar. Like
Yeah,
not
this-
Avengers.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Captain America.
So I'm pretty sure this is Avengers.
It is Avengers, but it's also
Yeah.
Captain America. It's Captain
Right.
America joining the Avengers. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
It's
the
Captain
tell,
America,
like
yeah.
if you're not sure, the tell is that there's a tiny flying Wolverine that's supposed to be the Wasp.
That's the tiny. That's the he got fastball special from way behind. Yeah.
I
All
tell
right.
you, Marco, I wasn't totally sure on that one. So I'll give up. You're not alone there.
You know what? This next one, no clue. I couldn't even fathom it.
This one I was having trouble with as I was putting the slides together.
If I really like zoned in and thought, because I've seen it before, but I cannot say with
Is it
confidence. what
Phoenix
this is.
Saga?
That's what it feels like. Is the Phoenix Saga?
I'm not sure.
This one looks like it took some liberties.
Yeah, this one's by Dan Panosian, by the way. But I'm not sure who.
No, because Phoenix Saga is Jean crushing the title card.
Well, to be fair, she's on more than one cover.
Sure.
And they do have like that kind of cosmic-y, fiery energy in the
Yeah,
background, which gives me
yeah.
Phoenix vibes. And the plane, the Blackbird, being back there as well, which was a prominent thing the X-Men would use at the time. So I don't know though on this one. We're gonna have to be all wrong on this one.
Happy to take that.
What's that, Tyler?
I think it's Howard Chaykin's Star Wars cover.
Oh,
Fucking
Um,
what?
It says in the back, with love and respect to Howard Chaykin. And I'm pretty sure it's that one with like Darth Vader's head in the background. You get the characters in the forefront.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's the cars that threw me off, but I guess the ships would have been in those places, the Star Wars ships. Yeah.
And those titles are the book that this cover will be for, not the book that it's from. I'm pretty sure.
Correct. Yep.
So next,
Oh, easy. This is another gimme. Ghost Rider.
I don't know that for a fact, but I can't imagine
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
anyone
it's Ghost
else.
Rider,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going with Ghost Rider. I'm sure we're all gonna do that.
Yeah,
Marco.
it's gotta be. Oh yeah, it's I know it's Ghost Rider #1 first Danny Ketch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's EJ Sue on the cover there. Marco, you got this next one?
All right, all right. There's 4 of them, so I'm gonna say Fantastic Four because one has the fiery bird, and I'm like, wait, that's giving Torch. There's no, I don't think there's a stretchiness, but I'm gonna go with that. And then X-23 is whatchamacallit, Invisible Girl. So that makes sense.
Correct.
Very good. Well
Let's
done.
go. Let's go.
Now, and that one was by Chad Harden. So the next cover, I'm out on this one. I don't have
No
this.
idea. Great suit, the best suit in my opinion.
Arguable, but okay.
I know this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill, the Simonson Beta Ray Bill cover.
Oh, nice.
oh, okay.
It's just a white
Yeah.
cover with Beta Ray Bill slamming his hammer down.
Doesn't he crush the Thor logo?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay.
It also says after Simonson in the signature there. So
This next one, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
yeah, this one I actually kind of really like.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
He's got the classic yellow and blue suit. And he's like hunched over. It just looks great. This is by David Yarden. Good stuff. Next.
All snicked, but not me. I don't know.
Look at the way he's jumping.
That weird little foot. I'm gonna say a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Brother, this is the most famous Spider-Man cover.
What?
300 was it? Spider-Man 300?
I think so. This is McFarlane.
The fact that he said what?
Like,
Oh shit! I just googled it.
Unbelievable. All right.
Oh, black suit. Oh, cool. Okay.
And that one's by David Baldion.
black suit. No, it's not the black suit.
No, yeah, it's
Yes.
black suit.
Bitch.
There's multiple versions of that cover, Kill.
Yeah, the original one is with 300 in the background because it was issue 300 for Amazing.
The next one, Marco.
Jazz hands going on. That position's,
Stan Jurgens. Interesting.
is that an X-Men cover?
No.
Nope. Do you know what it is, Sean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give up, Marco?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is Secret Wars. This is the debut of the black suit. That's Spider-Man doing the like, whoa.
Oh, I was wrong. I
Oh,
thought
what'd
it
you
was,
think?
I thought it was Hulk. The first
Ah.
issue of Hulk. I think it's similar.
Yeah, this is that first black suit.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. That's my thing right there. I gotta know. If I didn't know that one, geez. Next one.
That might
Marco.
be, the next
Easy,
one
that's
is one of my
easy.
favorites,
Spider-Man.
honestly.
That
Yeah.
was Spider-Man. That's
Yeah,
easy.
this is another
Simple.
iconic Spider-Man.
Wolverine no more. Just Logan.
Yeah, and it's Wolverine walking away without his costume on, and in the background you've got a big silhouette of him with his costume on. It's the Spider-Man No More cover for those of you who can't see.
If
And
his
then-
main uniform isn't a tank top and a, a
Yeah,
pair of
right.
jeans.
Yeah. Alt
That's
form.
fair.
I would assume the cowboy hat would be in the trash bin, if anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Betsy Colon, the variant there. And then next is Marco.
I like this skull thing. You know
Great
what? Somebody said Mephisto potentially was was there. I'm gonna say it's Spider-Man again.
See, I do know this, but I cannot for the life.
it-
Is this? Oh,
Is it?
is this Magneto? No,
I was thinking, is it a Maestro cover?
like
I
the
thought it
Hulk
was.
Maestro.
Yeah.
I thought it might be. Oh, it's after Larson.
Mm.
I was thinking Infinity, the Thanos cover.
Yeah, I
Yep,
think
I
I
think that's
think
right.
it
Yep.
is. Is that makes
After
sense.
Larson, though, I don't
Well,
think so.
that would. Oh no, I know it. It's Venom holding Spider-Man's skull. So we were right.
There
It
you
is
go.
Spider-Man.
There
Yeah.
you go. Okay,
Oh,
so
ooh, let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's a-
I know
that's a-
I've seen this.
I
shit.
forgot Larson's Venom is so good. It's extra
Yeah.
tonguey, and like the eyes are extra big. Yeah.
Phenomenal cover by Leno Francis Yu, by the way.
The next one I like because it's an homage by the same artist.
This
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
this one feels like it's been printed before. Like I feel like I've seen this before.
It's from Carnage USA. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's Carnage with the American flag, even though it's just Wolverine with the Canadian flag. But
I'm gonna say it's Carnage.
oh yeah, I spoiled it for Marco. Yeah.
2 points. Oh, and
Um,
this next one, I'm gonna say is X-Men.
Which I'm gonna ask for specificity on this one.
Damn, I'm
Ooh.
OG X-Men. That first class. They're all swooping in.
Yeah. Yeah. This is uncanny. Would it be uncanny or just X-Men?
No,
Just
it
X-Men
wouldn't-
number. No, it would just be X-Men number
I
one.
think
It would just
Yeah.
be X-Men, yeah. Hey, that wasn't bad. That was like what? Like I didn't get 3 maybe?
Bullshit.
I mean, you guessed Spider-Man on most of them.
All right, I'm looking back. I didn't get maybe like 6.
I
Which
feel
is-
like it's like 8. I
Most
don't
of those
know.
were the ones that I got confidently were like maybe 4.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'll give you this, Marco. You did better than I thought.
Yes. So we want better than average.
There you go. Well, of course, the 50th anniversary of Wolverine means it's a perfect time to kill some X-Men, which is what Marvel has been getting up to recently. And some of them are going to rise from the dead. We are getting Dead X-Men, a new series that's spinning out of the fall of the House of X and rise of the powers of X and everything else that's been going on. And this is going to be by Steve Fox, who's been getting a shot lately. By art by 3 individuals: Vincenzo Caratu, Bernard Chang, and Jonas Scharf.
Hmm.
So Fox is writing Dark X-Men right now, which that's been solid. That's been solid. We technically don't know who is in this Dark X-Men book, or Dead X-Men rather. We technically don't know who's in this book. But do you guys have any speculation about who's on the cover? We've got a cover full of 4 X people that are rising from the grave.
I mean, Jubilee's right there.
What?
Isn't that the sparkly hands?
Yeah, that's one of them is Jubilee.
Which one?
One on the right, and then you have Prodigy on the left.
That doesn't look like the way Jubilee's powers are displayed to me. That don't look like fireworks.
Even has the
See,
haircut.
I thought these were the X-Men that were
Pixie cut?
killed violently that should have been joining the team in Hellfire Gala.
That
Which
makes sense.
Jubilee was one of them. Prodigy was one of them. And who won that one?
Was it Firestar? No.
No, that was last year.
Um,
Was it
yeah.
Dazzler?
Marowak Esquiro says Dazzler.
Which then Dazzler's in the back there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I think it's those guys. And then I don't know who it is in the foreground though. The first guy.
No idea.
Is it Elixir or maybe Doug Ramsey? Is he dead?
Not dead.
No, he was
Don't
still
know
alive.
what's happened to him, but he's not dead.
Right.
Could be
Krakoa.
Elixir.
Krakoa kidnapped him.
That's right.
Oh, that's true.
Um,
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we've gotten so many ancillary X books at this point that I just okay, cool,
Yes. That's right.
sure.
Could you repeat the premise of this?
So the premise is, I'll read it now. Death was only the beginning. This is from the description. Quote, when the world turned against Krakoa, these 5 mutants lost their lives, but their mission as X-Men is just getting started. To preserve Xavier's dream, they must accomplish the impossible or die again trying. Here's a few words from Fox. He said, Dead X-Men is one of the most complex stories I've worked on at Marvel, but also one of the purest. A small group of mutants who have accomplished the impossible, which is the premise that made me fall in love with the X-Men in the first place. There is a reason you see so many talented creators credited on this book, and I can't wait for readers to discover the secret behind Dead X-Men. Okay.
Oh, interesting. How are they coming back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the big question mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Inakadoa mentions Cannonball. Cannonball was killed in that same scene.
That's right.
So yeah, it's when Nimrod just boom just comes through, just murks everyone.
Him.
Yeah.
And then Inikadoa also says Juggernaut won that last vote.
Yes.
We had a whole thing about like, well,
Yeah,
does he count? Does that
doesn't
make
count.
sense?
Oh yeah, and they spoiled it.
Right.
I hope the premise is good. I'll definitely give it a first issue to see what the premise is. Again, Steve Fox hasn't been disappointing on Dark X-Men, so this can be good. This absolutely has the potential. It's just the cast of characters that, presuming that all of our speculation is accurate, it's a cast of characters that I'm not overwhelmingly excited about. And so that's kind of a neg for me, especially because, again, like I said, so many tie-ins at this point.
Yeah.
But especially with the whole thing wrapping up, I'm done. I've been sort of on the outs, but this relaunch back to status quo is I'm out. I'm done.
Especially the status quo piece. I'm gonna pick it up to see how it works out because I'm not gonna say no to that comic or the X-Men necessarily. But I'm not warm on it.
I'm personally of the mind that the time for expansion has passed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that now that we are rearing towards the end, we should be contracted. We should be getting rid of titles. Things should be ending. I don't think that there should be 5, 6, 7 tie-ins adjacent to the rise and fall and Magneto resurrection. Keep it to that, I think.
Solidify your line for the finale. And then whatever the new status quo is, then do all your, then you could have, I don't know, Prodigy #1, I wouldn't hate it.
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I think this is weird timing, and it feels like they're trying to get everything out now that it's ending. I feel even more like that when I look back at the Fall of X books. It's like, okay, yeah, we got to do an Iceman book. We got to do a Nightcrawler book again. Like, it's just like, okay, let's get every idea we had out on the table. Let's resolve stories and things like that. And it's like, okay, but that costs money.
And also, back then, especially, it's like, okay, well, this is fertile ground, fine. But now, who cares?
Yeah, it's over.
Quick shout out to Dan. Thank you so much for joining the VI pals.
Yes, Dan, welcome. Thank you so much, especially as a patron. You're a double dipper. We love those. I'm a double dipper too when it comes to comics. I have so many duplicates, it would make people angry.
Not chip and dip though. That's against the rules.
No, it isn't.
You can't dip and then dip again? No.
Why not?
Come out of your Seinfeld bit. Stop it.
Fine.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Thanks, Cal. Yeah.
Oh, Kale. Amin Perez says there shouldn't be more than 5 X titles, and I'm there. I think the X line has felt bloated for a while. I'd like to see it cut to 3 or 4, to be honest.
1.
You know what? I wouldn't turn my nose up to it. Because, like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah. I don't disagree.
even House and Powers was one line, you know?
And then when it expanded, it was like 5 titles.
Yeah.
Well, that, but they were interesting. And now we're at the end, so let's it's enough already. It's enough. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm ready for it to be over. Like,
We never even got it
Yes.
started.
Man, the whimper that this is turned out to be. Like,
From like such a hot spot.
yeah, from
Like-
a height, man.
I'm excited to go back to school. That's all I'm saying.
well, I think a lot of people are.
But you know how expensive credits are right now? No, thank you.
Fair.
You know how much I have to pay in student loans?
Yeah, yeah. Go back to class? No.
All right, X-Men. We'll do a retrospective. But trust and believe we will do a retrospective on this whole House and Powers era, this Hickman era.
It's more of a post-mortem, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Post-mortem.
Is it fair to call it, and maybe this will be part of what we talk about, but is it fair to call it a Hickman era?
I think it's a tale of 2 eras.
Yeah.
And we will
Nice.
definitely talk about that a lot more. Aaron Ruiz, perhaps we treated Fallen Angels too harshly. You know what? I fucking agree. I actually thought that was pretty decent. I don't know why people hated on that so hard, but you know, fans will fan.
Or
Let's no, right, true. We've got one more thing before we go home. And it's a biggie. We're gonna do a draft.
not. We doing that draft.
Yep. You guys answered the call. You got us across that like goal, which, by the way, more likes, more better. So please continue to do that. But we're going to do a draft, and we've got a fun one. We are going to be drafting a team of villains turned heroes.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes. And so what do I mean? Listen, and if you have a problem with this rule, state it now or forever hold your peace, please. I am talking about characters who have meaningfully gone from villain at the start to hero. I'm not talking about.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not talking about, like, for example, Batman and Joker teaming up. It's happened, but they're not. Joker's not a hero. I'm not talking about a smidgen brief face turn. I'm not talking about that. They have to meaningfully act heroically for a period of time. Can we all agree to that?
I'm ready for that. Yeah.
I think Tyler and I are about to battle for the first one.
Does it happen to be visible?
This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh,
so,
no.
Oh, okay.
In fact, that helps.
You guys know the rules. We're going to do a snake draft. I'm going to roll my dice to determine who's going first. And won't be Tyler, except I think it was last week.
It was, yeah. It was an off week.
Yeah. Weird. And yeah, the winner will be determined by the audience. So here we go. I'm going to begin by rolling for Kale. That is a 5.
Oof. Sorry, Papa.
Tyler. That is an 8. Myself. That is a 5 as well. So Kale and I will have to roll off. Marco.
12.
4.
Yikes.
So Tyler first again.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Fortunes have changed. So we know who's first and we know who's last. So I will now roll for Kale. That is a 7. And for myself, oh, Jesus, it fell off. I'm going to re-roll.
Count.
5. So it'll be Tyler, Kale, myself, and Marco.
Okay, before we start,
Yeah.
I have a clarifying question. So, meaningful pivot, right?
Yes.
Does that count if they've gone back since?
Yes. They do not
So-
have to currently be a hero to count.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
They only have to have at some point meaningfully become one.
And
Right,
How many?
okay.
How many are we doing?
Arc
Four?
longs, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I would say multiple arcs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can we do 5? 4?
I can definitely do 4.
Let's do 4.
I can
I'm struggling.
do 4 as it stands.
May I go first?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Apocalypse.
Fuck.
Oh,
That
it's
was
so
my
good.
first.
Yeah, I know it was Sean's first. That's kind of why I went for
Kale.
Superior Spider-Man. Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I count that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Are you picking Doc Ock or are you picking him as Superior Spider-Man?
Well, Superior is where he does that.
Fair.
Turn.
Okay.
So-
it's either
So
one.
that era of Doc Ock, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's valid. I'm going to draft Magneto.
Yeah, that was my second pick. There you
Saw
go.
that coming. Yeah.
Catwoman.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Sure.
that's fair. You get another one,
Absolutely.
Marco.
Oh, in that case, Victor Mancha.
Yeah.
It's,
Did he start off as a villain?
Runaway's
Wasn't
villain,
he-
wasn't he?
Yeah, was he like a bad guy? And like that was the whole thing with reconnecting in Vision. 'Cause he was previously.
Oh no! Yeah, no. That was a small. He started off as a good guy in Runaways. He did something bad. Later on, yeah, I wouldn't pick him. No.
In that case, Vision.
No.
I don't feel like
He did start as a villain.
Right. Is the base code for what's his face?
Voltron.
Hey.
All right.
I'll give it to Marco.
Sure. Yeah.
The boy knows two things. We gotta let him have it.
I can do another one.
Well, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do 2 of them. All right. So then it's Kale.
No, it's you.
Oh, it's me. Venom.
Ooh, good one. Oh, good one.
Which
Of course,
one?
fucking Venom.
Which one?
God.
Eddie.
Oh shit.
Eddie. Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Pretty much sole hero now at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Adam.
Yes.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
Oh. And you go again.
And I get to go again.
I got a good one. Oh, come on.
Okay. Possibly debatable. Norman Osborn.
No.
Not long enough for this.
I don't think so.
Is that well
Not to
thing?
me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do.
And also it was telegraphed. So
I guess. Could I throw
Shazam.
Poison Ivy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it been long enough?
I think so.
I feel like if we're saying, because I don't know that I think of her as a hero. Is
Still.
she?
I don't think so.
Kind of anti-hero, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I
she
don't
does
think
things
she does
for good.
heroic
She
acts.
doesn't do good things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Like
I feel like she's been doing that in less issues than Norman Osborn has.
No, I mean she was in Birds of Prey since New 52. You know,
that. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're right. I'll give
she
you
was
that.
like
I was just
Avatar
thinking
of the
about
Green for every time since.
Yeah. I was thinking about the part where she was killing people in her solo series.
That's what I'm thinking of.
But
Yeah.
you're right too. So I would say that counts.
Okay, so I got Poison Ivy, and I got another one, right? This is my
No,
last
that
one.
was
No,
it.
you had to.
You had to.
You said Scarlet Witch and
Oh yes, I
Poison
did.
Ivy.
Yep.
My next one is Clayface.
Yes.
He was a Detective Comics Bat family
Yeah.
member. Yep.
Bat fam. Emma Frost.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of X-Men I'm seeing.
Hell yeah. They love to heel and face turn.
I got Harley Quinn
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Well,
the
yeah.
most straightforward one. Yeah.
and Deadpool.
Was introduced as a villain. Yep.
Right.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are my
Wow,
4.
Marco. Filling it out.
I got 2 more actually. You know what? Give me that 5th, baby.
Whoa. Look at you.
Getting a little too big for his britches right now.
The Marco
It's
story.
fine. Thank you very much.
So it's me now.
Yep.
Now it gets a little bit dicey.
Does it?
It doesn't for me, so I just need you to go with
You
whatever
just
your gut is, so I can.
think.
I'm gonna I'm going to say Juggernaut.
He was an X-Men member.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm cool
yeah.
with that. That's fine. I think his face turn happened in Thunderbolts, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Kale, I put one on the screen for you.
Trust me, I have it. I think this one is I'm so torn. I've made a huge mistake.
I got like
this
3
one?
more now.
For this one, I'm gonna say Apocalypse.
We said that
You
already.
said-
I already took it. Yeah.
You took Apocalypse?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was my
first
pick.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm gonna go with my next one then. The Silver Surfer.
Fuck.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Damn,
You thought of
dude.
that, Marco?
Yeah.
Damn. I thought I was doing some big brain shit there.
That was my
Marco
next.
thought
That was
of
my
it.
next one, dude.
All right, I'll end it, right? My last one?
Yeah.
Loki.
Yeah. That's great.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kale, I put
I feel
Captain
like-
Cold on here for you.
Wow.
Brother,
One-
hey, number 5, Captain Cold. All right, will you shut up about it?
I'm trying to give you something. Jeez.
I knew it was there,
Didn't wanna
and you were
pick an
correct.
easy-
Thank you.
I feel like we could have even gone for 5 because it seems
I-
like we all thought of.
Oh, were we not?
I got one more.
No.
I
You guys wanna
thought
go
we
Let's
were
just go to
still-
5. Let's go to 5.
Let's go 6.
Oh,
Seven.
shit.
Hold on a second. Wait,
I could do 6.
Shit.
You want to go to
go.
6?
I'm gonna have to come up with a 6, but yeah, let's go to 6.
So then, in that case, Tyler would get 2 picks?
I go one more time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I wasn't ready for this. This is my brain only went up to 5, and now I'm suddenly.
Well, you only have 4. So what would your 5th have been?
I didn't have a 5th.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I can do 5 because I thought I'd have time to think about it. Let's see. I'm just going in my head. I mean, I guess this works because they were. Oh yeah, Rogue.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
Started as a Brotherhood
Yeah, yep.
member.
That's
Yep.
right.
absolutely.
It's a good one.
And Kale, you're gonna go with Captain Cold.
Captain
or-
Cold, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to draft the Winter Soldier.
Ooh, nice.
Good one. Good one.
He started off as Bucky though, who was a good guy.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
The Winter Soldier
Same character.
didn't know he was Bucky.
I don't care what he knew or not didn't know. The facts are still there.
That's not true. If you take away your personality, you're not Tyler.
That'd be
I
much
I
more
grant
enjoyable
that.
too.
Sometimes I wish that would happen to you, but
I'm gonna argue quick. Winter Soldier there.
I think Winter Soldier.
If we're going Marvel snapped rule, Sean, it's still Bucky Barnes.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna recuse myself, but if Marco and Kale feel that it's valid, then that would
I think
be.
it makes sense.
I think it works
Yeah.
because he had a massive story arc where he was a pain in Cap's ass.
If it bothers you, Tyler, I have another pick.
I'm just saying, like, he was mind controlled, so he wasn't even doing bad things on his own accord.
All right.
But then he's not Bucky.
do another.
If we said yes to Vision, But okay, fine. I'll do another. I'll do Quicksilver.
You got a point there. You got a point.
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Piccolo Daimo.
You going
Black
Piccolo from
Black
Dragon Ball Z?
Piccolo, Dragon Ball. Yeah.
Wasn't,
I mean, it's-
wasn't limited. Yeah, that
Okay,
fits.
yeah, that I have a great one that you all are gonna kick yourself for not thinking of, but I was gonna ask if we can go outside the.
If we're going outside the sphere, then I mean, I then sure. Marco gets 2 picks though.
Oh, then the next one is Wolverine.
Hulk villain, technically.
Yep.
Originally, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if he
More
I
like
don't think he was a
weird,
villain.
more like
I-
weird Canadian guy that Hulk stumbled across.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was an antagonist, but not a villain.
The Hulk was the villain in that one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right.
Ooh, I just thought.
I got a
I
fucking
just
good
thought of
one, and I'm
yeah.
not getting to it. Like, oh no, I'm next. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah,
Well, hey, I still
man,
got. Hold on, I got.
the Hulk is a decent one, I think.
Oh, Mystique.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would consider her heroic at this point. Yeah.
she's on the side of good.
The Jennifer Lawrence made sure of that.
Vegeta.
Yeah. that's
Damn,
good.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Tommy, the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mag. No, hold on a second. That's not comics first.
Well, it's still a comic.
Oh
book.
well,
The
that's
comic
true.
now, but it was a TV show. I call BS on that one.
I mean, you
Damn, I
a
got
point
hype,
there.
but Marco's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he's Marco. Oh, oof, how'd that feel?
Nasty.
Feel good.
I can't stand him. So
Gotta tell you, it doesn't feel good. Okay. All right, Dan. Good one. I'll call. I'm calling. I'm reaching out for the chat on this one. Plastic Man.
Villain?
To the chat.
I
Start off
wouldn't
as a
know.
villain?
I'll have to take.
Yeah, I don't know his
in-
origin.
Yeah,
In the 30s, he was a crook,
that's right.
and he had a similar origin
is true.
to the Joker. He fell into a vat of chemicals and became Plastic Man. Harris Tommy was not good first, so screw off.
Yeah, he was
That's
always
literally
a plant,
episode
right?
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I get to finish this off probably with a whimper. Man, Doctor Doom is never good. like I might think of him as like I agree with him, even though his methods aren't really there. Geez.
Tyler on record agrees with Doctor Doom.
I do, yeah. I'm a big Doctor Doom guy. Big fan. Weird pick. Negan, Walking Dead.
Valid.
Oh, he becomes a good guy?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. Yeah, which just shows how complex that world is. That like, yeah.
So somehow we got through it.
That was
We have
good.
completed the draft. We started at 4. We went to 6.
That's
Sinestro.
it.
Damn it, Sinestro.
That's-
Actually, no.
Sixth
Sinestro
one
started
was,
off as good. So Sinestro doesn't count.
Yeah, Sinestro wouldn't count. Well, my question is on Sinestro, not that it matters at this point, but in publication, did he start as bad?
No, I don't think so either. Actually, that's a good
He's an
question.
ally?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was
Because
just
he
yellow ring guy.
before he was fear guy, he was he had a yellow ring. He was a bad guy.
Right. I thought that all that stuff was retroactive. So our teams are as follows. Kale got Superior Spider-Man, Black Adam, Clayface, Silver Surfer, Captain Cold, and Plastic Man. Tyler got Apocalypse, Scarlet Witch, Poison Ivy, Loki, Rogue, and Negan. Marco got Catwoman, Vision, Harley Quinn, Deadpool, Piccolo, and Mystique.
Damn, that's a team.
And by the way, please get a poll up if you can. And I got Magneto, Venom, Emma Frost, Juggernaut, Quicksilver, and Vegeta. Who won?
You know who I just remembered? Songbird, Sean. My girl Songbird, yeah.
Love Songbird.
I couldn't have Tommy.
I'm sorry, dude. I was hyped.
It was good.
It was a
idea.
great pull.
Yeah, it was.
I would have loved it.
What I'm learning is that villain to hero, great trope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They make
And
sometimes the best heroes.
Yeah, they do.
Did anyone pick Lex Luthor?
I feel like he wouldn't count.
I mean,
It's a bit like Norman Osborn.
but if Captain Cold counted, then Lex was in the Justice League just as long as him.
But he wasn't good.
And
was a
also,
dick.
Captain Cold is a crook. He's not like his heart isn't evil.
I guess.
So to speak.
I guess. I mean, I side with
Um,
Lex too. I'm a Lex truther. So
Oh my god! Wow, Lex and Doom
love capitalism and fascism.
and dictators. Well, let us know who you think won the draft. I see those votes coming in. And this time we will definitely let you know who you guys all voted for once we get to the end of that poll. I want to say thanks, a huge shout out and thank you to those of you who chose to join us on the channel membership end of YouTube. You guys are phenomenal. We already have 2 videos up for you guys to check out. There's 2 videos up right now. We will be dropping them weekly, 1 a week. And you do have access to the emojis and more to come. More to come. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. So this is a big moment for us, and we really appreciate those of you who are jumping on board. Huge shout out to all of our patrons, those that we mentioned earlier, and those that we haven't. You know, you guys are all great. We appreciate you all. Everybody that listens, thank you so much. We had a great time today. Make sure you join us on October 30th for the live Long Halloween book club. It's gonna be great. Two-Face, right, Tyler?
Omni-Man.
Well, no. Wait, what?
He was never good.
Doesn't he turn good?
No. I meant like in the beginning. Like he didn't start good.
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. I've got a lot of baggage with that though. So
I haven't read far enough to know whether or not he turns face. I assume he does, since you just brought that up. But yeah, that would have been valid, and that would have been quite a pick.
Battle Beast too, I think, as well. But...
Oh, I don't know who Battle Beast is. Oh, he's one of the Invincible guys. So yeah, patreon.com/thecomics-pals. Thank all of you so much for being a part of that. And if you want to check it out, we even have some free content. You can check out my blog from New York Comic Con. So you can check that out. And then, if you decide you want to take the leap, there's a lot of great stuff there for you. And we hope that you choose to do that. YouTube.com/thecomics-pals for this show every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. 366 episodes deep. Never missed a week. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pulls. Vote in the listener pick poll, which is up right now. You can make your voice heard. We've got a huge week planned next week as far as the books that we're going to be checking out. Next week is just loaded with huge books. We've got Wonder Woman 2, Amazon's Attack, Flash, Dracula, Thor, big books, big stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Dracula.
Yep.
I'm excited for Dracula, actually.
Yeah, I am too.
Me too. I'm very hyped for Dracula.
In this the year of our Lord 2023.
I know, right? Join our Discord server. We would love to have more of you be a part of that. It's again totally free. Discord is totally free. It's just a place you can come hang out with us and have a good time. So we would appreciate you guys being on board. Let's hit the plugs. Oh no, before we do the plugs.
Yeah, the poll broke. I don't know what happened to it.
Well, Marco wins.
Oh, damn. Marco's been right mad times today. He's been
Piccolo
wins
That's the one.
How did that happen?
Marco's whole episode arc has been villain turned hero at the end.
No.
Listen, I'm not making any accusations, but I gotta ask a question.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Did you do it, Marco?
No. I hit
Liar.
I didn't. I was waiting.
I think the Piccolo pick really garnered some love from the chat, I gotta say.
There's some anime fans out there, man. Got
You
the
mean,
hat
you mean
on and
manga?
everything.
You mean
I'm repping the
manga? We're
brand.
talking comics right now. Manga.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Manga.
You almost had to rescind your pick there at the last second. Yeah.
Plugs, Kale.
Liar. You can find me at Marco Zelier on you can find me at Toto in Tow on Instagram. That's TOTOINTOW. Hey Harris, I shouldn't have told you to screw off. That wasn't very good. I said it on the show. I better say this on the show. My bad.
Very nice. And it's all in fun.
It's all in fun.
Yes.
You are wrong about Tommy, but it's all in fun.
We've known Harris for many, many years. Lord, been supporting the show for a long time. Marco.
You can find me at Mr. Marco Enomoto on Instagram and Twitter, and all the things at Mr. Marco Enomoto. Just talk to me.
Tyler.
You could follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter and Threads and TikTok and everywhere. There's too many social media applications now where like Kale went the opposite, where he like just ditched them all. I'm like way too into all of them, and it's just it's all face into phone. So.
As for me, you can find me playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, same.
How is it? Quickly.
It's fucking awesome.
Good.
And we will talk more about that on Palling Around.
Oh,
This Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Be there. We'll see you then. For the pals, I'm Sean saying until next time, we love you. Thank you. Take care, guys.
How's